Welcome to Magic Tale World, where every story comes alive with wonder. Let's open the book and begin our adventure together.
Once upon a time, nestled deep within a snowy forest, stood a cozy little cottage. This was the home of a kind old toy maker named Elias and his loving wife, Anna de Ra. Their cottage was always filled with the cheerful sounds of hammering and the sweet scent of fresh-cut pine. Elias was famous for his handcrafted toys, and children from all over the village would press their noses against his workshop window, dreaming of the wonders inside. As Christmas approached, the village buzzed with excitement. But a quiet sadness had settled over Elias and Anna's home. Their sales had been poor that year, and they worried they wouldn't have enough money for a special Christmas celebration. One frosty morning, just a week before Christmas, Elias was tidying his workshop when he stumbled upon a small, dusty wooden box tucked away in a forgotten corner. He couldn't remember ever seeing it before. Wiping away the cobwebs, he discovered a beautiful, ornate silver bell nestled inside on a bed of faded red velvet. It was intricately carved with tiny stars and snowflakes, and it gleamed with a soft, magical light. Curious? Elias picked it up and gave it a gentle shake. Instead of a normal jingle, a shower of shimmering golden dust erupted from the bell, swirling around the workshop like a tiny, sparkling tornado. The dust danced in the air, touching every unfinished toy on the shelves. A wooden soldier, half-painted, suddenly stood at attention. A rocking horse, with only 3 legs, began to gently rock back and forth. A cloth doll, with button eyes, blinked and smiled. Elias watched in astonishment as his workshop came to life. The toys weren't just moving, they were alive, filled with a joyful, magical energy. He knew instantly that this was no ordinary bell. This was a magic Christmas bell. Overjoyed, Elias rushed to Shuana. Her eyes widened in wonder as he rang the bell again, and the kitchen utensils began to waltz across the countertop. They laughed with a delight they hadn't felt in a long time. This bell was a miracle, a gift that could save their Christmas. The next day, Elias took his newly enchanted toys to the village market. The children were mesmerized. The wooden soldiers marched in perfect formation, the dolls sang sweet carols, and the rocking horses offered rides to the littlest ones. The villagers had never seen anything like it. Soon, every single one of Phileas's toys was sold, and his money pouch was full to bursting. But as Elias and Anna prepared for their grand Christmas feast, a selfish and wealthy merchant named Mr. Grumbles heard about the magic bell. He was a greedy man who owned most of the shops in the village and couldn't stand to see anyone else succeed. He believed that all the finest things, especially magical ones, should belong to him. Dressed in his finest furs, he stomped up to the toy maker's cottage. Elias, he boomed, his voice as cold as the winter wind. I hear you have a magic bell. Name your price. I will buy it from you. Elias, holding the bell tightly, shook his head. I'm sorry, Mr. Grumbus, he said politely, but this bell is not for sale. Its magic is meant to be shared, not owned. Enraged by the refusal, Mr. Grumbles vowed he would get the bell, one way or another. He stormed off, muttering and plotting under his breath. That night, as the northern lights painted the sky, a small, shadowy figure crept towards the cottage. It was Mr. Grumbles. He silently slipped through an unlocked window, tiptoed into the living room, and snatched the bell from the mantelpiece, where it sat shimmering softly. He scurried back to his grand, empty mansion, cackling to himself. "Now all the magic is mine," he gloated, locking the bell away in his heavy iron safe. The next morning, a heavy silence fell over the toy-maker's cottage. The magic was gone. The toys the children had received were just ordinary toys. Again, the joy that had filled the village square vanished, replaced by a quiet disappointment. Elias and Anna knew immediately what had happened. Their hearts sank, not just for their loss, but for the loss of the Christmas spirit that the bell had brought to everyone. They knew they had to get it back. Elias and Anna went to Mr. Grumbal's mansion. They pleaded with him, explaining that the bell's magic only worked when it was used to spread happiness and kindness. "The bell isn't for one person," Anna explained softly. "It's for everyone." "But," Mr. Grumbles just laughed. "Nonsense. Magic is power, and I am the most powerful man in this village." He refused to listen, slamming the heavy oak door in their faces. Dejected, Elias and Anna returned home. But they weren't the only ones who missed the magic. A brave little girl named Lily, who had received one of the enchanted dolls, heard what had happened. She gathered all the other children, and together they marched to Mr. Grumbles' mansion. They didn't shout or demand. Instead, they stood outside his window and began to sing. They sang Christmas carols, their small voices rising in the cold air, filled with hope and the simple joy of the season. Inside his cold, lonely mansion, Mr. Grumbles tried to ignore the sound. He went to his safe and took out the bell, shaking it furiously. But nothing happened. No golden dust, no swirling lights, only a dull, hollow clank. The bell was silent. The magic was gone. As the children's singing grew louder, a strange feeling stirred in Mr. Grumbles' heart. It was a feeling he hadn't felt since he was a little boy, a warmth, a longing for connection, for joy. He looked around his vast, empty house, filled with expensive things that brought him no happiness. He listened to the hopeful voices of the children outside, and for the first time in years, Mr. Grumbles felt a pang of regret. He finally understood. The magic wasn't in the bell itself. It was in the spirit of giving, the joy of sharing. The bell was just a vessel for the true magic of Christmas. With a heavy heart, he opened his front door. The children stopped singing, their eyes wide. Mr. Grumbles walked slowly towards Elias and Anna and held out the bell. "I was wrong," he said, his voice quiet and humbled. "The magic of Christmas doesn't belong in a safe. It belongs out here with all of you." Elias smiled and took the bell. He gave it a gentle shake. Instantly, the most brilliant shower of golden dust burst forth, swirling through the entire village. The lights on the Christmas trees shone brighter, the snow sparkled like diamonds, and a feeling of pure joy and wonder washed over everyone. The toys in the children's arms came to life once more, dancing and singing along with them. Mr. Grumbles, for the first time, smiled a real, genuine smile. That Christmas was the most magical the village had ever known. Mr. Grumbles used his wealth to throw a grand feast for everyone, and he learned to share not just his money, but his heart. The magic Christmas bell stayed with Elias and Anna, but they shared its gift every year, reminding everyone that the true magic of Christmas is not in what you get, but in the love and kindness you give. And so, the legend of the magic Christmas bell lived on, a timeless reminder that the greatest gifts are those of the heart. We hope you enjoyed this magical story. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more enchanting tales. Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.